Hello, you beautiful essence. Today, for this prompt, I decided to do a birth chart. I called it a birth map, just for the sake of the challenge. I didn't know what to do. I was really inspired by this picture, and then that one, and then that moon picture. And I was thinking about doing something along the lines of a natal chart. I remembered my natal birth chart, and I decided to do my own. And I went on this website and I filled out my information, and I was surprised, honestly, because it had my city. I've done birth charts before, and the one I did before didn't have my city. I had to use Toronto. And if you're from Canada, you'd know that Toronto and St. Catharines are 2 hours away from each other on a bad day. But yeah, so this one had my actual place of birth, and the difference, it's not much. Yeah, the stars were not that far, or not that different. So what even is a birth chart anyway, though? I didn't really know what a natal chart was. But I did look it up, and it's a snapshot of what the sky looked like the day you were born, or if you have your exact time of birth. I don't have my exact time of birth. I heard once, long ago, when I was a little child, that I was born at 6 a.m. I mean, I don't know if I'm remembering correctly, but I think my mom said that I was born at 6 a.m. one time, and it's stuck with me ever since. That and either 6 or 4 a.m. All I know for sure is that I was born in the morning. That's for sure. And also, I was born before the sun rose. So that could be anywhere in the middle of winter from 12 a.m. till 8 a.m. So I don't know. But for the sake of this, for the sake of my own mental health, I'm gonna stick with 6 a.m. because I don't want to have to do another birth chart. Yeah. So then the question is why is a natal chart even important? Most people know their sun sign. Everyone could be you could easily Google your birth date and then it'll give you your sun sign. But a natal chart tells you where every okay, so let me get into this. So your sun sign is basically where the sun was at your time of birth. That's what your sun sign is. And in the sky, the stars don't change, but the planets do. So wherever the planet was at the time of your birth, that's extremely important to shaping your personality. I think the horoscopes come from Greeks. The term it comes from the word aura, meaning time, and scopes, meaning observer. So I'm pretty sure that it's these horoscopes come from the Greeks, and they loved studying the sky, I think. I'm not a historian, so I don't know for sure. But yeah, so everyone generally knows their sun sign, but there's also a sign that some of the planets were in different spots. They're not all in the same spot at the time you're born. For instance, my moon is a Sagittarius. My Mercury is a Capricorn, and I'll get into those a little bit later. But and all those things have meaning. And then also, the sky was split into different houses, and each house has a meaning, and where the signs are, which house the signs fall into, plays a role in your personality as well. So like when people say they don't believe in astrology, it's because like they only know their sun sign, which is only giving you one tiny piece of the puzzle. If you can see from the artwork, there's so many like lines that are being drawn. Like you can see all the planets where they were at the time of my birth, allegedly. And you can see around like the outer ring. I've written like the other astrological signs. So there's, and then all these little symbols, those are the planets, like they're symbols to represent all the planets. So yeah, that's all of this is what makes up a person, not just the one sun sign. You see that little circle with the dot in the center? It's probably too small to see, but if you look, I'll highlight it there. That's the sun, and you have all these other planets that make up you. So I'd say if you know your time of birth exactly, maybe give it a try. Just give astrology one last chance to prove to you that it knows you on a deep interpersonal level. If you want to. You don't have to. But as the saying goes, all the signs are grouped by elements, actually. So you have fire signs, water signs, air signs, and earth signs. The fire signs would be Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Earth signs would be Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Water signs would be Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Air signs would be Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And then also, on top of that, each sign is either like a cardinal sign, a fixed sign, or a mutable sign. Cardinal signs kind of represent control. Like, if you have a cardinal sign, you probably like to be in control of everything. Like, maybe you're a control freak. You don't like to let other people take the reins. You're like, you're that person. You're the one who's the boss. Those signs would be Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So they like to be the boss. And then your fixed signs, they represent strength. These signs are pretty tough, I'd say. And they're also stubborn. Yeah, I think they're stubborn too. Those signs would be Taurus, Aquarius, Leo, and Scorpio. Yeah, and then the last group is the mutable signs. They're very like adaptable, friendly, easygoing, and those signs would be Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, and Sagittarius. And then all the signs are also grouped by like either being a masculine or feminine. And let's see. Masculine signs, I have to like look back. I have notes, guys. I have notes on this. I didn't want to come unprepared, so I decided to give a little like crash course on natal charts. So the masculine signs are like extroverted, they're assertive and confident, they're problem solvers, and they're courageous, and things that are associated with masculine energy. Those signs would be Aries, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, Gemini, and Aquarius. And then the feminine signs, they tend to be more shy and passive, intuitive, they're nurturing. And those signs would be Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces. So then there's also houses on top of like the planets falling into specific signs. they also fall into different planets. So, I mean, different houses. So you have like angular houses, which is they're very strong. They have a strong influence. So any like sign or planet that's in one of these houses is like it takes over more of your personality. Like let's say your personality is a pie chart, it would take up a bigger slice of the pie, and those houses would be 1, 4, 7, and 10. And then you have succeedent houses. They represent like creativity, and so your creativity will be informed by which signs and planets are in those houses, and those would be 2, 5, 8, and 11. And then you have cadent houses, which are about like your aptitude and talent, and those houses would be 3, 6, 9, and 10. And the last thing I guess I want to talk about would be some cool things I found from my sign. So, I mean, from my birth chart. So, in my birth chart, I had like some dominant signs. Like, they were showing up in multiple. Like, I had multiple planets in specific signs. As you can see, all those planets are in a specific ring, and they miss out on some of the signs completely. You can't see it in where I'm drawing right now, but so the most dominant signs were Aquarius, Capricorn, Sagittarius, and Scorpio. Aquarius and Capricorn tying for the most with 4, and then Sagittarius and Scorpio tying for the second most, which was 2. And then I had, I think, only one other sign, which was, or maybe 2 other signs. I think I had, I can't remember, but I know for sure I had an Aries somewhere. And the other one I can't remember. Maybe it was a Pisces. I'm not sure. But, yeah, the Aquarius, the 4 planets, the 4 celestial bodies that were in Aquarius were Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Uranus. And then for Capricorn, it was Mercury, Venus, Neptune, and my ascendant. And then for Sagittarius, the 2 were Moon and Pluto. And then for Scorpio, it was the Chiron and MC. I'm not sure what MC is. I didn't really look into that. But I looked deeper into, so like in your birth chart, as I was saying, like if your planet falls into a specific astrological sign, it has a specific meaning. So the planet Jupiter was in Aquarius, which Jupiter represents like growth, expansion, healing, prosperity, like those types of things. And having an Aquarius in Jupiter means that you're welcoming and accommodating and intellectual. And and Jupiter also represents like wealth, like the type of wealth you'll have. So with an Aquarius in Jupiter, it meant that I'm not going to be very wealthy, which I think I need to look into that. And I'm considering the fact that I was probably born at maybe 7 in the morning and not 6. I don't know how much of a change that would make, but hopefully it will get Jupiter out of Aquarius so I can be rich. And then Mercury was in Capricorn, and Mercury represents communication and mentality, like how you think, your mental state of mind, like the ways you think about things and go about communicating with others. And a Capricorn in Mercury means that I think methodically and cautious, realistic, and I'm pretty grounded. And I would say, like, that's true because it sounds good, and I'd like to think those things about myself, but who knows? And then my moon is in Sagittarius, and the moon represents your emotional state, and so Moon in Sagittarius means that I'm pretty positive, even in negative situations. And I think that's true. Also, it means that you tend to take on challenges like head first. Like you just go for it. You're like, any challenge that comes your way, you're like, I'm taking this down. But the negative part about it is that like you'll need a lot of motivation, and you don't like to be confined, which, honestly, I think is all true about me. I believe it. I do. Now, the cool thing is the Chiron. I didn't know what that was, so I looked it up, and the Chiron represents your deepest wounds and the things that you need to heal from. So my Chiron was in Scorpio, which means that I'm direct and devoted, but I struggle with relationships and worldviews. I disagree. I don't think I struggle with, maybe I do struggle with relationships, to be honest. I don't know. Like, I struggle with the relationship to myself, like how I feel about myself. And sometimes I struggle with, like, relating to other people. Anyway, I'm not even gonna look into it. That's the thing. That's how astrology gets you. It says something, and, like, sometimes your immediate reaction is like, that's not true. And then you think about it, and you're like, but is it? And then you start to believe it. So, I'm not gonna do that today. Anyways, that was a little bit of that's a little tidbit. Some information about, me, and, oh yeah, like, let's see. So, Virgo was the other one. I see it. So I have Aries and Virgo, and those are the only two. It's just one, like, only one planet there. Anyways, this was fun to do. I enjoyed making this painting, this poster. I don't know if you'd call it a painting. It's a digital ink drawing. And I can call it ink because the pen I use, although I changed the name to call it like a charcoal fine liner is what I call it, it's actually called dry ink, and it's like a Procreate preset. And a lot of people use it. I see a lot of people who make art, make things in Procreate. They usually use the dry ink as a sketch pencil. But I use it for the whole dang thing. Sketch, final, I love it so much. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. And thanks again, Essence, for watching. Have a great day. Or night, or whatever.